and welcome to the Beckoning Bookshelf. I'm your host, Jeffrey Ashcraft. Since I'm reading Jacob T. Marley this year, I figured I would revisit the Christmas classic that inspired the story, and has inspired many stories. A Christmas Carol. A Christmas Carol was written by Charles Dickens and first published in December of 1843. Which I gotta say, it is awesome that I can read a book, or a story, that was written nearly 200 years ago. That's so cool. Now, this copy is not an original copy. This was published a lot more recently. If I ever came across an original copy of A Christmas Carol, I don't think I could afford it. But wouldn't it be awesome to have one? It'd be so cool to have one. I'm digressing. At the time of publication, Dickens was already rather famous due to his various serials like Oliver Twist, The Old Curiosity Shop, among others. And he apparently wrote this book in 6 weeks. It's a real fast turnaround. He was apparently struggling financially, and he needed a hit really fast. Also, according to Charles Dickens' A Life, which was written by Claire Tomalin and published in 2011, Dickens crafted a lot of the story during nightly walks that could be as far as 20 miles. Which, that's really far. I mean, it makes it sound like he did this regularly, which I really would love to see if this was just a habit of his or just a need or something to just walk 20 miles at night, because I've walked 20 miles. It's not short. You can't do that in an hour. So, yeah, I would love to see why he was walking 20 miles and how often. Fascinating. Well, he finished the manuscript and took it to his publishers, and they said, no, they rejected it. They thought it wouldn't be a hit. So they refused to publish. And Dickens decided to print it himself. Now, isn't this fascinating how often we hear of stories concerning classics where originally some executive or publisher or somebody rejected the idea, thinking that it wouldn't be a hit, it wouldn't go anywhere, only for it to turn out to be this massive success and turn into a classic? It's kind of funny how often you hear about that. Just a random side note. The book itself is absolutely fantastic. And it could have inspired... Well, it wasn't a big, gold mine of a book, because few books are. It was a big hit in the UK. And it could have inspired a lot of what we practice with Christmas today. Because back in the mid-1800s, Christmas was different. It wasn't apparently, it wasn't as festive as it is now. In fact, this is a fun side note. The same year that this book was published, in 1843, that year the Christmas card was invented. Wasn't that coincidental? It makes me wonder if Dickens knew about it or not, because if he didn't know about it, that's an amazing coincidence. But if he did know about it, maybe that's why he wrote A Christmas Story. Now he's thinking, hey, that could be a big hit financially. That'd be a genius move. That's just me speculating. But like I said, fantastically written story. Absolutely love it. It's a perfect mixture of comedy, horror, joy, sorrow, mystery, suspense. It is great. It's so well told, and it's really fun to read out loud. In fact, I can't help but wonder if Dickens intended it to be read out loud, just by how it's written. I also love how Scrooge's story of redemption is very real. It makes a lot of sense. The spirits don't show up and just lecture him, saying, hey, you're doing this wrong, you should be doing this. No, they show him various events and various things and allow Scrooge to learn for himself. They allow him the space and the time to figure it out. Like the Ghost of Christmas Past shows him events that make him reflect on the day before. Like when he sees a bunch of children, when he sees some children from his past, he begins to regret being so mean to the child who was singing at his door on Christmas Eve. And then the ghost of Christmas Present uses his own words against him, saying that Tiny Tim should hurry up and go to reduce the surplus population. All these things make Scrooge realize for himself that, oh, wait a minute, I'm kind of a jerk. I do kind of need to change. And that's a good way to depict someone's redemption, is allowing them to just see for themselves the error of their ways. And I like how the spirits all want the best for Scrooge. They all want him to change, including the scary spirit of Christmas is yet to come. This spirit, well, the majority of the times I've seen this spirit adapted into film or show or just visually, the spirit's creepy. And in the book, the spirit's creepy. It's just this foreboding, silent, cloaked figure. But in the book, it does show that the spirit does want the best for Scrooge. It does want Scrooge to change for the better. And I really like that. The book isn't without its political motivations as well, though. And I agree with them. Dickens had some political motivations that he wanted to be part of the story, particularly when it comes to children. He was wildly against child labor, uneducated children, and child poverty. He also wanted to bring attention to needs of people with disabilities, with, of course, Tiny Tim. And it's all masterfully done. It's all done in a way that, again, doesn't lecture us as readers. Just as Scrooge isn't lectured by the spirits, we're not lectured by Dickens through this book. He just shows that, hey, these things should, you should pay attention to these things. Like poverty's bad. And children should be educated. And you should pay attention to those who actually have needs, especially during Christmas time. So, I love the book. It is absolutely fantastic, and I love its length. The length is great. It's a good book to read every year. So, have you read A Christmas Carol? And if you have you enjoyed it? Further, there's a lot of adaptions for this book. There's a lot of adaptions for this story. And I'm sure you've watched at least one of them. Now, is there one that you really enjoy? For us, one of the ones that we watch every year is A Muppet Christmas Carol. And my wife really loves it. And I gotta say, I like it for the most part as well. It has some creative changes to it, some creative adaptions, some of which I like, some of which I think are passable. But I love how accurate, for the most part, A Muppet Christmas Carol is to the book. It is very, very accurate. And Michael Caine as Scrooge is fantastic. He does a great job. He gives Scrooge, he plays Scrooge very seriously, even though he's surrounded by Muppets. So, he does a very good job there. Very good acting. And I love how the spirits are depicted. They're very imaginative and also very book accurate. My wife will love that I'm talking so good about the movie. And lastly, this might be one of my favorite parts about A Muppet Christmas Carol, is at the very end, it encourages you to go read the book, which is great. So, again, what's your favorite adaptation of A Christmas Carol? And thank you for being here. Thank you always for being here. That's all I have for you today. Have a Merry Christmas, and go find yourself a good book.